I'm coming in hot.
Good day, fellow engineering students. I am delighted to have the opportunity to guide you with today's topic on Introduction and Methodology, CENG Day 3, powered by NKay Study. As fellow members of the engineering community, we are united by our passion for problem solving and our desire to make a positive impact on the world around us. I am confident that today's presentation will provide valuable insights and inspiration as we continue on our journey as engineers and specifically the CENG project. I would like to take a moment to thank NKay Study for making this event possible and to express my gratitude to all of you for taking time to join us today. Your presence here is a testament to your dedication and commitment to the field of engineering, and I am honored to have the opportunity to engage with you and learn from each other as well. So without further ado, let's dive deep into writing introduction and methodology and explore the fascinating world of engineering together. Right, amazing. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, questions, and insights through the presentation. Thank you once again for being here. My name is Godson. Let's get started. Tutorial outline. So today we'll be talking about writing the introduction. That will be our first agenda. And then the first thing we'll be talking about is brief background to the course, and project background, problem statement, and then objectives. And then we'll move on to the second agenda, which is methodology. Then we'll be talking about problem identification, map preparation, then data collection, right? The third one will be the overview and summary of the presentation. So for the first one, we'll be talking about the brief background of the course, right? So, CENG description, what is it? Engineers like librarians, teachers, and doctors have a central role to play in the community because they understand how to read clearly and think very well, right? Good. So, engineers have a further role to put people to work, as each engineer employs about 85 people in the allied trades. Just look at this, right? Amazing. So, engineers generally build the dreamer's dream and they utilize the product the scientists and the investors have what conceptualized, right? Amazing. So there are several problems confronting societies in Ghana that demand to be solved urgently. The role of science is only to identify the problem, investigate and experiment on the problem to find feasible solutions to the canker, right? But then engineering, on the other hand, takes a further step ahead of science to ensure that the possible findings about societal problems are utilized, right? Thus, engineering ultimately aims at providing lasting solutions to the variety we face in society by application of knowledge obtained from science and what mathematics, right? So, over the years, it has been observed that graduated engineering students of KNUST find it very difficult to apply the knowledge acquired from school when they are working in the field. So CENG 291 is here to help us, right? So CENG 291 Engineering in Society is a course introduced and studied in our dear and the best university in Ghana, right? Yeah, which is aimed at helping first year students discover how their knowledge acquired in their various fields to study. Let me say the various fields of study can be applied to solving the emerging societal problems. Right, good. So CENG 291 is a course introduced here, and then it is aimed at, I've already said that. Good. So the course was initiated in the 2012-2013 academic year by the provost, by the then provost of the College of Engineering. And then this enables students to explore their innovative thinking and imaginative creative skills and better appreciate their course of study, right? Good. So it gives students an initial insight into their profession and engineering and portrays to them how or what their future will look like, right? Good. So that is the brief background of the course. So you could take a screenshot of this and then you would put in your own sentences and write-ups to make it a success, right? Good. So that will be the brief background of the course. Now let's move further to the project background. So when we talk about project background, it's a section of the report that provides context and background information about the project being discussed. So the project background typically includes information about the need or problem that the project is addressing, the goals and objectives of the project, and the stakeholders involved, right? So it may also include information about the project team, the timeline and budget, and any relevant background information about the project's context or environment. So the project background should include information about the project, including its goals and objectives, and stakeholders. Should provide information about the project team, the timeline and budget, and any relevant background information, right? Good. So let's take a critical look at this one. The use of technical vocabulary and clear, concise language helps to convey the key information about the project in an organized and professional manner. So let's make use of this. It will be very, very helpful because as scientists or engineers, it is very important to take into consideration the technical vocabulary. Do you get it? Good. So that is we are using the vocabularies that are relevant to the topic we are talking about, right? That is the best thing. You shouldn't be using English words which are of no use. You get it? Use the scientific terms. That is something which is very, very important. Yes, and I would like to talk about. Good. So this is a sample. The project at hand is a response to a present need in the community address, and then you talk about the problem or need. So if you take a critical look at this sample, you see that it talks about the problem, the list of the objectives, the list of the stakeholders, the list of the team members, and then the project leader, time frame, budget, etc., etc. These are basic terms that I know you understand, so I wouldn't dive deep into it. Let's quickly look at a sample from NKay's report. So this is NKay's report, and then you could see his project background. When you take a critical look at this project background, what you could do is that you could pause the video and take a screenshot of it and read it. You could see that it will capture all the information we talked about recently, right? Amazing. Amazing. So let's quickly go back to what we were doing, right? Good. So we are going to move on to the next part. The next part, which is the problem statement. So the problem statement, what I would say is that it should be clear and specific. You shouldn't add embellishment. You shouldn't go detailed explanation. No. It is a statement. You get it? It's a statement. So it should be clear and specific. And then it should be based on the research and data collection, or let me say data collected during the data collection, right? Very good, of the report. So it should not include any solutions or recommendations, but rather it should focus on clearly and concisely stating the problem, right? Amazing. So let's look at something here. This is a problem. This is a problem. The problem addressed in this report, I'm just taking a sample from another report. Do you get it? And then we are going to generate the problem statement. Something which is very, very important here, right? Good. So the problem addressed in this report is the high rate of absenteeism among students at XYZ High School. Despite efforts to improve attendance, many students continue to miss school regularly, resulting in lower academic achievement and graduation rates, right? Good. So the problem statement for this report is how we can improve student attendance at what XYZ High School, Jordan. You see, so in this example, the problem statement identifies the problem. Do you get it? Which is high absenteeism among students, and provides a clear and concise statement of the problem. Do you get it? How we can, do you get it? Improve student attendance, right? Simple. So the problem statement serves as a roadmap for the rest of the report, providing a clear focus for the research and analysis that follows. Amazing. So as simple as ABCD, right? That is the problem statement. So let's look at NKay's problem statement, what he wrote. So for NKay's problem statement, he just wrote frequent power outages in the new site of Kote Didiako, in Kumasi, right? It's in Kumasi. Very simple, just a statement. Don't go explaining a lot. No, it's just a statement, right? Life is good, right? It's very simple. Amazing. So let's continue with what we were doing. Right, good. So we are done with the problem statement. What else do we do? What else do we do? So we move on to talk about the aims and objectives. Aims and objectives. So the aims and objectives of a report are the goals and objectives that the report is intended to what achieve, right? So the aims of the report are the broad goals or the outcomes that the report is trying to achieve. You get it? While the objectives are the specific steps. You get it? The objectives are the specific steps or actions that will be taken to achieve those what aims. So aims and objectives work hand in hand, right? Good. When you wake up early in the morning, you plan your day, right? You set your goals. Your goals basically are your aims, right? Good. And then you set objectives. What you do to accomplish those goals. You get it? Good. So something like when you wake up early in the morning, you want to study programming, let's say C++. That is your aim, right? Your objective is to watch a 2-hour video on what you get it. So the objective will be the step that you what take into consideration to achieve that aim. You get it? Good. So that is it. That is it, right? So, for example, if the aim of the report is to learn about a new type of bridge, the objectives might be to research different types of bridges, compare their strengths and weaknesses, and recommend the best type of bridge for a particular location, right? Very simple. So let's take a critical look at NKay's report once again, and then we'll see how he went about that. So for the aims and objectives, let me quickly address this. You see, this side has motivation and justification of projects. You see, reports have different styles. You get it? When you are in mechanical engineering and then you do a course, first year, second semester, it's a course called design project. You get it? That one, it has little like you add certain things in the report. It is quite different. But then with this one, we are following the style of the CENG report. Do you get it? That is why I'm jumping the steps. Right? Good. So yeah, the problem statement was frequent power outages in the new site of Kotie Didiako, right? Good. So the aim, you see, the aim of this project is to ensure a continuous and uninterrupted power supply to the new site of Kotie Didiako. Do you get it? You see, it works with the what? The problem statement. And then what was his objectives? His objectives was to know the causes of the power outages, to establish some of the inconveniences power outages poses, and then the need to curb it. And then another objective was to propose long-lasting solutions from the field of mechanical engineering to the problem, and then sensitizing what the residents of Kote Didiako to embrace the proposed solution. So you see, that is it. Aims and objectives, very simple, right? Very, very simple. Very, very simple, right? Amazing. So I think with this, I've given a circumstantial elucidation to the aims and objectives of what the report. Amazing. Amazing, right? Good. So I can see you are enjoying this tutorial, right? Good. So the second part is methodology, right? Let's quickly jump into the next subtopic under methodology. Sorry. Right, good. So the first one we'll be talking about is problem identification. Now, problem identification is a step in the methodology of a report that involves identifying the problem or need that the report is trying to what address. Very simple. This step typically involves conducting research and gathering information about the problem, analyzing the data to identify key patterns and trends, and also formulating a clear and concise statement of the problem. Do you get it? Or you could also say that problem identification is the process of figuring out what the problem is that the report is trying to solve. Do you get it? And then this involves doing research and collecting data about the problem, looking at the data to see what it tells us. You get it? And coming up with a clear and concise statement of the problem. So that is problem identification. You are just briefly, what I would say is that it is basically a description of how you identified. Do you get it? Very good. Because our first task we were supposed to do was to identify a problem in our community and then propose a solution to that. Do you get it? So you are supposed to describe how you identify the problem. So this is the problem identification. So For example, if the report is about traffic congestion in a city, the problem identification step might involve collecting data about how many cars are on the roads, how long it takes to get from one place to another, and what causes the traffic jams. By looking at this data, we can identify the problem and come up with a clear and concise statement of the problem. Do you get it? Yes. Let me give you another example. For the problem I identified when I was working on my CENG project, my project was to establish drone aerial security and surveillance in my community to detect crime scenes, and then to also check out chieftaincy disputes during enthronement of chiefs. So I realized that in my community there are a whole lot of crime, active criminal activities and chieftaincy disputes. So how do we investigate this, and how do we call the security personnel to come on action? Do you get it? So I thought about this problem, and then I said that, oh, okay, we could establish a drone. You get it? That will communicate with the security personnel. You get it? Very simple. So that is how you identify the problem, right? Good. So let's look at this report once again. Let's look at this report once again. But then I think the problem identification has already been tackled with an example. So let's quickly move on to something different, right? Good. So I think we should move on, right? It's not on our side. So the next side will be, or the next part will be methodology, which is map preparation. Map preparation. Good. So how do we prepare our map? It's very, very important to add the map of your location in the report, because the CENG is actually a report which is what's trying to solve a problem in your community. So you must give us the map of your community. Very simple. So let's look at NKay's map, right? Let's look at NKay's map. Very simple. Let's look at it. Good. So here was his problem identification. That was his methodology. And then he talked about something few. So you could take a screenshot of that. I didn't show that in the previous tutorial, and then you could read about that. Very good. So map preparation. Map preparation. You see, he gave something small about just a small write-up on his location. Do you get it? Yes. And then he said, even though I have stayed in Kote Diako for quite some time now, the places I'm most familiar with in my neighborhood, the routes are blah, 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 blah. So you just go on the internet. You just go on the internet and then you search your location. Do you get it? And then you could take a screenshot of it and then you insert it into your document, right? Very, very, very simple. So let me try and then look at how I would illustrate that on the internet for you. Right, good. So all right, so come in. Amazing. So let's quickly look at what we were doing. Right, good, good. So I'll be sharing a screen right now on how we would search for the map, though it's easy, but then let's look at it very well so that we could explain. Right, good. So let me say map of Kote Diako. So you see, Google has an inbuilt program. I think Google Earth. So you see, the map will be here. You could just take, let's say, you could just take a screen tip of this one, right? It is very simple. So let me say I want to insert it at this side. You get it? So I'll go to insert, and then I'll go to screenshots, right? So let me see, where do I find? Okay, screenshots, and then I go to what screen clipping. You get it? So it will send me to this side, and I'll just click the what? The screen. Do you get it? Good. So it will be inserted. And then from yesterday's tutorial, you could what? Insert a caption. You have to name it. This is a figure. Do you get it? So let's say map of Ote Ediako. You get it? Amazing. Then it will be there. Right? Good. 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 So that is it. Caption will be there, right? Good. So I just clicked on, I just did an undo so that I'll just delete it from the report. This is different from engage report, right? Good. So let's quickly move on to the next part of what we were supposed to talk about, right? So the next one we are supposed to talk about is data collection. Data collection. Now, data collection is very simple, right? Now, if you take a critical look at something, you realize when we were in junior high school, we learned about information, data and information. And then we said that data is raw and unprocessed what material. But then information is a detailed explanation to what? The data, right? Good. Which is, it gives you more explanation. Do you get it? So it is relevant, accurate, and it's of what? Immediate use. Do you get it? So what happens is that the data, we take the data and then we will process it into information into our reports. You get it? For our lecturers to actually know that we worked on the reports. Very simple, right? Good. So data collection is the process of gathering and recording information about a particular topic or phenomenon. So in report writing, data collection is an essential step in the research process, as it involves gathering the information that will be used to answer the research question and support the conclusions of the report, right? So let's look at some of the methods of data collection. We have surveys and questionnaires, we have interviews, we have observations, experiments, then secondary data. So let me give you a circumstantial explanation of each of the methods. So when we talk about surveys and questionnaires are one of the most common methods of data collection in report writing. These methods involve asking a group of people questions about a particular topic and collecting their responses. Do you get it? Good. So surveys and questionnaires can be conducted in person, by phone, or online. So let's look at an example. Let me send you to my reports. This is a report. This is not the full report. I wanted to take you to some parts for the introduction and methodology. So this is online form records, right? Good. So for me, I was talking about drone aerial security and surveillance in my community to detect crime scenes and chieftaincy disputes in my community. Do you get it? During ensuement of chiefs. So here, what I did was during my what's the name? Collection of data. What I did, one of them was online form records. It's a form of a survey. Do you get it? So I used a link called Survey Hat. So when you, okay, let me try and open this link. So you would see how it looks like. You see how it looks like. So let me try and copy this. Let me see whether to work. As okay, good. So it has come. Okay. Let me check up on that on this side. Right, good. So this is the survey I did. So let's look at it. So here you have to type a full name. Let me say Daniel Steve, right? Good. And then your contact details, let me say 0268101688, right? Good. And then are you an inhabitant of the Polycoma? Yes, good. So rate how security personnel delay to stop, locate, and investigate crime scenes in your community. So let me use West, or let me use West, right? Good. And then would you recommend drone aerial security and photography to help reduce crime in the community? Yes, and be used immediately. So immediately I submit this, it will be recorded in my what? Survey I did, right? Good. Very, very simple, right? Good. So that is it. That is it. That is it. Very, very simple, right? Amazing. And then we look forward to talk about interviews. Interview is very simple, right? Interview is just like you let me say interview is, it involves conducting in-depth conversations with individuals or small groups of people to gather information about a particular topic. You get it? So interviews, it can be structured. You get it? That is when you have a set of list of questions, or unstructured. That is with more open-ended questions, right? Good. So let's look at it. This is an engineer. This is Godson. And then he's asking Mr. NK. This is Mr. NK. Mr. NK, please, how pressing is the issue of crime in our community? Mr. NK is thinking, and Mr. NK will answer. The issue of crime in our community is very alarming to the extent that we record about 34 serious cases in every year, right? Very, very, very simple. So that is interviews for you, right? Good. And then we have observations. Observations involve watching and recording information about a particular situation or phenomenon, right? Good. And then we have experiments that is involve manipulating variables and measuring the effects on a particular outcome. Do you get it? So that is it. You understand that as well. And then when we talk about secondary data, it involves collecting and analyzing data that has already been collected by someone else. Do you get it? That is secondary data. It involves collecting and analyzing data that has already been collected by someone else. You get it? So this can include data from government agencies, research studies, and then other sources, right? Good. So what I would say is that overall, there are many different methods of data collection that can be used in report writing. And then the best method will depend on the specific research and question, or we would question the type of data being collected. Right? So that is it. That is it. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. So this is data collection, right? Very simple. So let's take a critical look at NKay's report, and let's see how he went about with his data collection. So one, he did self-administered questionnaire. He also did personal interviews, internet-based research, telephone interview, direct observation. You get it? So you see, everything has been captured in our explanation, right? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So this will be the end of the tutorial. Thank you for your unwavering attention. Once again, my name is Godson, an aerospace engineering student. Thank you very much. Enjoy your reports. Make sure you write it, and then make sure you are confident about what you are doing. Thank you very much.
I'm coming in hot.